Hi everyone, it's been over 2 years since I've given you a full update on all of my Hoyas and orchids, and I'm filming this firstly from below the bridge. Just when you step down from the bridge, this is what you see. You can see that my Hoya booty is blooming, and so as many of my other Hoyas. Let me show everything to you one by one when I get upstairs. Starting from the mother of all Hoyas, this is the longest Hoya carnosa vine I had when I was living in Colombo, and once I moved to this colder climate, I saw that the plant has uprooted during the move. So it was out of media and was like that for several days, which I had to quickly remediate. As I thought hard, I knew repotting this would not help because I just moved to a colder climate and all my Hoyas and orchids are shocked. What I did was I chopped it up and repotted into new lava rock and charcoal, and the main vines I trellised. The regular rain took care of all the nutrient needs, which I hardly fertilized this Hoya. But when it started growing, and it did start growing very well, all the new vines started intertwining each other. You guys know I have been traveling a lot also, so therefore I did not have much time to fertilize any of my plants. Hoya carnosa, being a genus, can leaf out and bloom without a trellis at all. So without moving a beat, it started showing off its usual colors like it did when it was in Colombo, and threw out new panicles and started blooming profusely. Let me show you my first vanda tree. This has a lot of Acampe rigida, and the topmost vanda I do not know. It's a genus too, but I'm waiting for them to bloom. So I'll show you how exactly I made these vanda trees. These are pretty much basic DIYs. I just thought on my own and I just did it. I didn't want them to be that tall also. So this is only 4 feet tall. Let me show you the new vandas I have. This is a Rhynchostylis Bangkok Sunset. You guys know all this. This is pretty much common. And this is a vanda, a dark purple, another Rhynchostylis hybrid, Mannonia, which you can see that I got the urge to have some new vandas and Rhynchostylis. Now, in between you're seeing other orchid genuses which I have done focused videos on. This is my Hoya Memoria, repotted into cocoa peat and a top layer of charcoal and lava rock. It's doing fine. This is Hoya Croniana, which I do not like the name, also in pure cocoa peat. This is another medium-sized flowering red vanda, which is very common, but I've been dreaming of getting one. I'll show all of them again when they bloom. This is Vanda Tenthai purple, a pastel color, medium-sized vanda. Again, I suspect there is a mini permacross in that. Let me show you my second vanda tree. This has tessellata and some hybrids. This is also a mini permacross, and it has started to root newly, and all of these orchids have been here for such a long time now. It's all rooted and grabbing onto the vanda tree itself. This is another hybrid with 2 keikis which I got recently. I want the keikis to grow bigger or bloom. These are my Hoya Deki and Hoya Finlaysonii, all in cocoa peat. And Rotundiflora, Quincunavia, Heniae, Obovata, Macrophylla, Callistophila, Hoya Merrillae, and the one in the big pot is, my Hoya Natalie. Hoya Natalie has been restarted, and apart from Hoya macrophylla, everything is on lava rock and charcoal with a top layer of pebbles. Hoya macrophylla, I put them pure on coco peat because I knew that will do very well. Even my Hoya calistophylla is in coco peat. So looking above the balcony, you can see that they are running wild. So some Hoyas need trellises to grow leaves. Some Hoyas like Hoya obovata or Hanier, no matter how small or medium their leaf size is, do not need a trellis for them to leaf out well. When it comes to my Hoya lambi, this definitely needed a trellis to leaf out. Because why? The leaves are pretty huge in size. So my Hoya elliptica, I have trellised onto the railing too, because the former trellis was very cozy and there was a mealybug issue. I needed it to have more air. This is my glabra schlechter, which I also restarted, and the pieces are doing fine with new leaves and new vines. This Hoya, guys, for the life of me, I will never remember the name. I always forget and someone reminds me. This is also my restarted Hoya booty, which fell from over the previous house balcony. Similarly in lava rock and charcoal with the top layer of pebbles, and this is the 5th day this is blooming. So the 6th day it totally fell off, but when it gets filtered sun like this, flowers will definitely last long. Now this is my obovata variegated, which very low amounts of variegation, but it will always have that variegation. Thank God. This is macrophylla pot of gold, and then you're seeing my Vanda tessellata. Let me show you my third Vanda tree, which also has hybrids and species Vandas, Acampa rigida, tessellata, and other hybrids, which I recently acquired. They have all rooted onto the pole. Let me explain to you how I did this. I took 2:1 ratio of cement and sand, mixed it with water into a paste, added it onto the plastic pot, inserted the pole and secured the pole without leaning it or toppling it over, utilizing styrofoam on either side of the pole. I did this in the night, and by morning comes it was hardened. Then what I had to do was to poke a hole so the excess water would drain out, and there is only a 3-inch thick cement layer in the pot because the pole is only 4 feet tall. The following morning itself, you can tie your bare rooted vandas onto the poles using zip ties or wires. But make sure that your ties have totally secured the vanda root bulb onto the pole, otherwise your orchid will not start growing. I'll show you the newly reactivated pinnacles of my Acuta heart-shaped. This is also a repot into lava rock and charcoal, and same story as the Hoya carnosa, and now it's blooming for the very first time in a year. All of my Hoyas have this aphid problem, which I manually remove, and since I have given this balcony railing as a trellis, I let them freestyle their own vines or free fall on its own. Let's go to the last Hoya I have on my first floor balcony. It's the Sweetheart Hoya or Hoya carrii, which is doing magnificently well over here. Slight small problem, it does not get rained on, so therefore some of the leaves get crinkled during hot weather. This has a slow release fertilizer cup because I want to see a maiden blooming on this specimen. It's a balanced fertilizer in all of my fertilizer cups. I have not increased any element in any of my fertilizer cups. Everything has 20-20-20 fertilizer slow release in them. This is also potted in lava rock and charcoal with a heavy top layer of river rock. One last thing I forgot to tell you about my Vanda trees. If you add small sized slow release fertilizer cups and let it rain over it, the nutrition is taken care of, and you can leave it alone if your lifestyle is very busy like mine. For about a year, me and my partner have been traveling to various parts of Sri Lanka, which he and I both wanted to visit, which we have never visited. So I needed a way of taking care of my orchids and Hoyas on their own. Most of the time these are removed from their cover pots because we get rain all the time. You guys are seeing the outer variegated of Hoya Keria, which I forgot to show you guys, which I got a very weak cutting and it's thriving now. Let's get to the downstairs. Here you are seeing most genus orchids which I have acquired from around this area and which I have bought also. Among them you are seeing some Oncidium, sweet sugars, and most of these orchids I have done focus videos, and some are just very common ones, so I did not go to do, but I will do focus videos on most of these because there are still more to be introduced. If you can believe it, this is a broomstick which I have mounted some of my smaller tessellata plants, and you are seeing some encyclias, epidendrums, sorry guys, and this is my Dendrobium lindleyi or aggregatum, and it's doing fine. This is my oldest orchid rack which has a lot of bulbophyllums now. You will see that I have started liking bulbophyllums. Some have bloomed and some are still to bloom, and top there that is nobilis on ice cream tubs, and these I promise you I will do focus videos so you will see up close and personal. There are several genuses in one pole. This is another bulbophyllum and it's in cocoa peat, and once it hardened up I hung it like that, and they are doing fine. They are genuses, so they do not require a lot of fertilizer, but I have given some fertilizer cups to some, and this I've done a focused video. Bulbophyllum muscaliensis olivera, common to Sri Lanka, and this is my Dendrobium jenkinsi, still has to bloom. I do not know if this is a jenkinsi even because I do not trust the seller. This is a Neophanesia falcata and AC mini cross, which I still need to see flowers. It's a orange color flower, and more genuses which are only mounted to driftwood using cable ties. Some have fertilizer cups on them, and I removed the shading over this whole rack is because there's very low amount of sunlight these days. This is the tiniest micro bulbophyllum I have. I do not know what that is. That's the Kingianum and some more Dendrobium genuses in Sri Lanka, and my Coleogyne penderata, my hybrid Phalaenopsis, and more Cattleyas and other genuses which I've repotted. This is another bulbophyllum which I want to show you. The flowers are the yellow stems which you see on top. I have some of my Rigostylus sick after blooming. I think that is the shock. So the next time when I see spikes on newly bought Rinko stylists, I will definitely break them to keep them safe. That's about it, guys. I'll come back to you with new videos on my unidentified orchids. So until I see you again, thank you very much for watching. God bless you and bye.